Good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the people I can see on Zoom, and welcome to the people I can't see on Facebook, and whoever's watching on YouTube. For the past few weeks, we have been surfing the Ten Paramis, which were identified initially by an ascetic named Dipankara and written down by Shantideva as the 10 perfections of the heart needed for awakening. And just to review quickly, they are generosity, morality, or ethics, renunciation, or letting go, insight, energy, or effort, patience, truthfulness, resolution, loving kindness, and equanimity. And we have so far talked about generosity, ethics, renunciation, and insight. And this week we're going to talk about effort, how and when to use effort. So, just a quick announcement. I'm continuing to do these talks on Wednesday. I had at one point that nobody came a couple of weeks, and I decided not to do it last Wednesday. And of course, as soon as I did that, somebody showed up, and I get an email when somebody enters my Zoom room. So she convinced me to continue on Wednesday. So I'm here on Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock, and I'm still here on Wednesday evenings at 6:30. So, why don't we start with a sitting? So, I invite you to find a meditation posture that works for you. One in which you are alert but relaxed, not rigid, but able to pay attention easily. And if you start by just looking down the bridge of your nose and letting your eyes rest there, that'll relax the muscles around your eyes. And then gently close your eyes. And let's start by taking a few slow, deep breaths. Just to settle in, get connected to our breathing. Just settling in to being in your body, in whatever you're sitting in the present moment. And on the out breath, just beginning to relax and soften. And letting your breathing return to normal. Continuing on the out breath to relax your body, to relax the muscles in your face. Let your eyes settle in their sockets. Relax your shoulders to the degree that you can. And relax your belly, just let your belly be soft. We hold our belly tight much of the time. This is a soft belly exercise, just let it hang. And I invite you now to become aware of the touch points. Notice the sensations of your body in the seat, your bottom on the cushion. And notice the sensations of your hands in your lap. And letting go of any effort to do it right. The doing it is the doing it. And let your attention come to your breathing. Anywhere that works for you. Some people focus on the sensations of the breath moving in and out of the nose. Some people focus on the chest or the belly expanding and releasing. Just resting your focus and your attention on the sensations of the body breathing. Noticing the sensations at the bottom of an exhale. As your body transitions and your diaphragm expands into an inhale. And riding the breath. And noticing the sensations at the end of the inhale. And the sensations of your body transitioning to releasing an exhale. And just being with the rhythm of the body breathing, whatever that looks like. If your mind wanders off in thought, that's okay. It's the function of the mind to wander and think. When you notice that, Just bring your attention back to your breathing. You may notice right away, or not. It's okay. It's all good. Just when you notice, without getting wrapped up in the content of whatever thoughts are going by, just notice thinking as a phenomenon. And come back to your breathing. Thoughts may come and go, sort of like little baubles floating by. It's okay. Just notice thinking. And bring your attention and your focus back to the body breathing. if your mind has wandered off, it's okay. Just notice that and come back and start again with the breath. as we come to the end of this sitting. I invite you to notice whatever effort or refraining from effort you brought to this meditation. How you entered this sitting, how you sat, how you breathed. And may it be that the benefits from this practice enable you to look out into the world around you today with kindness and compassion, and to bring a balanced energy to your interactions and to the people around you. May it be that the benefits of this practice flow out into your household, into your community, into your town, into the world around you. And may it be that this practice helps us to move through the world with compassion and self-compassion. May the benefits of this practice benefit all beings everywhere. May all sentient beings be happy. May all sentient beings be well. May all sentient beings be safe. May all sentient beings be at ease and at peace. Thank you for your practice. I'd like to welcome the people I haven't seen here before. Welcome John and KR. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. As I said before, we are on to the 5th of the 10 perfections today. And that is the perfection of Virya, as it's pronounced in Pali, which is translated into energy or diligence or effort. And unlike the 4 previous paramis, generosity, morality, and renunciation of wisdom, Virya is never far from our lives. We make some sort of effort every day. We can't survive without it. We expend energy every day just to stay alive and to function in the regular, normal activities of daily life. In fact, some of us are so busy, we have to be diligent about how we use our energy and taking time to relax. Sometimes we exhaust ourselves with the energy we put into our lives, our work, our relationships, all this stuff. It really is exhausting. So we reinforce We use energy drinks and power bars and power strips and power chargers to do more and do more and do more. In fact, as a culture, we're kind of addicted to energy. So, and I used to live in Silicon Valley. I used to live and work in Silicon Valley. I'm lucky the energy it takes to stay warm. Silicon Valley is a constant energy type of place. Workaholism is actually considered a virtue. So why would we, in a culture that's effectively addicted to energy, why would we need to cultivate effort? But that's not the question. The real question is, what kind of effort do we need to realize an end to suffering? When to bring effort, and when to moderate, what kind of effort to bring. And as I talked about last week, the wisdom to know when to move forward, when to advance, or when to step off the line. I have a friend who has 3 kids, 5, 7, and 9. She was essentially pregnant most of 6 years. It takes a lot of energy to get that whole enterprise together and out the door every morning. But you can't sustain that kind of energy all day long, so there are times to bring forth your energy and times to moderate. Especially now that the older one's getting a little mouthy. The wisdom to know when to pour it on and when to back off. We may fall into workaholism if we use too much energy all the time, and leads to a form of burnout. On the other side, we may fall into what in Buddhist terms they call sloth and torpor. Can't find the energy to do much of anything. So where's the balance? We talk about work-life balance all the time. How do we achieve that? And in terms of spiritual practice, any spiritual practice takes effort and energy, but it takes skillful effort. The quality of effort, right effort, knowing when to advance, knowing when to stop. I used to have a canoe, and I wanted to visit this rock formation on the Sacramento River near where I used to live. And to get there, you had to go upstream because it wasn't far from the prison and you couldn't enter the water within a certain radius of the prison. So I decided to paddle upstream. And at one point, I finally noticed I was paddling my tail off. I was working really hard, paddling upstream, and I was not moving at all. Right? The scenery was not passing me, and the rock formation was not getting closer, though I could see it. So that was not a good use of effort. I think we do something like that in our lives much of the time. When to advance, when to pull back. And there's a certain effort that we use in meditating. Sometimes we may not be using enough effort and we end up chasing our thoughts, just relaxing into the flow of the thinking mind. It's very easy to do that. I do that. And then I notice that I'm doing that. It takes more effort to focus on the breathing. And you can do that simply by setting an intention to do so. It's not more complicated than that. And then accepting whatever comes with that. I've talked before about what my teacher refers to as the manual labor of meditation. The mind wanders off, we come back. Wanders off, we come back. There's some effort involved in that. Where we might be pouring too much effort into that as we're telling ourselves we're doing it wrong, or we're wondering if we're getting it right, or we're being ungentle with ourselves for this natural function of the mind to wander and come back. I was at a group meditation and I noticed somebody sitting there like very furrowed brow. We talked about that later. He was very, very intent. So intent that he couldn't relax. Unright effort is the effort that we put into being ungentle with ourselves when our minds wander off. The anxiety over whether or not we're doing it right. And the effort in meditation involves a certain amount of discernment. If you meditate on a cushion on the floor, your legs might start to hurt. Okay. You have to discern whether or not that's just the natural pain that goes along with Zen sitting, or whether or not you're actually injuring something. There's a certain amount of discernment. And it can feel discouraging for some people meditating when they notice their mind wandering off a lot, and they don't have a lot of experience with that. And that's an example of too much effort. Don't worry about it. The mind wanders off, it comes back. So we moderate that sort of effort with self-compassion. And there's the question as to whether or not you know whether you're bringing the right effort to your meditation practice. Is it supporting self-compassion? Or are you paying attention to the voices in your head that tell you you're not getting it right because your legs hurt, or your body feels fidgety, or your mind's more active? Sometimes my mind gets really quiet when I'm meditating in the morning. Sometimes it's like a kindergarten classroom on steroids and floodlights. It's all okay. I don't need to put any effort into wondering whether or not that's okay. Just when I notice it, come back to my breathing. I may have to do that several times over the course of a minute. I may have to do that several dozen times over the course of a 30-minute meditation, or not. So moderating your effort in such a way that it supports compassion. So here are some ways to look at effort, some exercises maybe. You might ask yourself, is this making you feel more energetic, or is it just draining you? In terms of how you interact in the world and the energy it takes to do that, does spending time with other people bring you more energy, or does it drain you? Is meditation energizing or not? So, there are dozens of different ways to parse a discussion of energy and effort. But to me this week it felt like continuing when to advance, when to pull back, and when to step off. Right effort suggests knowing when to try harder, knowing when to step back. In meditation, we try to avoid striving, learning to be with what is. And the paradox is that there's a certain effort involved in that. So, I invite you to practice self-compassion and use that as a gauge as to whether or not you're engaging in a way that works for you. So, does anybody have any questions or comments about that?
this is John here.
Hi, John.
Hi, hello. I think it's just an observation for me that for whatever reason, when I sit, my brain, if it's an hour meditation, my brain knows when 50 minutes is. If it's 30 minutes, my brain knows when 25 minutes is. And so sometimes my habit energy lets me sort of fritter away time until that 25 minutes comes, and then, oh, get serious now. So sometimes my self-compassion is actually saying, are you going to use the whole time, or are you going to sit here and think about your chores until you get that feeling? So sometimes the most compassionate thing I can do is, all right, this is not a luxury. It's time to sit because it's good for you and you know it helps you. So you need to go ahead and try to use this whole time wisely instead of, and I don't think there's a question or a comment. It's just something I've observed in my practice that I will let myself waste much of that time. It's almost like a deadline in school. Okay, time to start writing this paper. So I have to be very, very effortful on that, and I still fall. But that's where my effort is this is the time you have to sit before you do your chore, household duties. So use the whole time wisely. Don't sit there and daydream. And it's not easy.
It's not. Meditation is work. And I mean, I get that whole thing. It's like, oh, I have 10 minutes left. I really better get it together now. I'm not sure how helpful that is. The point is, I think, to be aware of that process. Sometimes I'm really quiet. Sometimes I'm focused on my breathing. Sometimes I'm wandering off. The point is, am I aware of what's happening? Am I aware of that now I feel like I'm efforting more because I feel like I'm running out of time? And how do I relate to that? And then what do I start to tell myself about that? I've been meditating for 30 years and I'm still practicing being gentle. It's a practice. I have to remind myself all the time. I salute your practice, and whatever you're doing it right. Anybody else? Okay, I will be here Wednesday night at 6:30. I will be here next Sunday. We'll continue our walk down the road with the Paramis on Sundays, and on Wednesday nights I'm sort of making it up as I go along. As usual, I put the usual information in the chat, which is the information for this Zoom, the address on my website. There's an archive of all these sittings and talks on YouTube, and all this is freely given, and I enjoy doing it, but if you feel motivated to make a donation, there's a link for that. So, thank you all.